Bismillah Rahman Rahim, talking about the relations of the head of the pancreas. The introduction about pancreas has been done in the first part video. Now we are going to talk about the relations of the head of the pancreas using this diagram. It tells us that the anteriorly जो आपका head of pancreas है उसकी जो anterior surface है that is related to the first part of the duodenum, the transverse colon and the jejunum, separated from it by the peritoneum, and the posterior surface it is related to the inferior vena cava, the terminal parts of the right and the left renal veins. It is related to the right crus of the diaphragm, and it is also related to the bile duct which is embedded posteriorly in the substance of the pancreas. Okay, also remember that the right crus is related to the head of the pancreas, whereas the left crus of the diaphragm is related to the body of the pancreas. Also remember that aorta is not among the posterior relations of the head of the pancreas. Talking about the relations of the uncinate process, anteriorly it is related to the superior mesenteric vessels. Whenever we talk about vessels, we talk about both the artery and the vein. And posteriorly, the uncinate process is related to the aorta. So, aorta is among the posterior relations of the uncinate process. Next, let's talk about the relations of the neck of the pancreas from another diagram. Yes. So the neck is actually the constricted part between the head and the body, and it is directed forwards, upwards and towards the left. It has two surfaces. It has an anterior surface and a posterior surface. The anterior surface is related to the peritoneum that is covering the posterior wall of the lesser sac. Lesser sac जो होता है ना, that is actually between the stomach and the pancreas, and it is also related to the pylorus of the stomach. ठीक हो गया. वो पेरिटोनियम जो कि लेसर सैक की पोस्टीरियर वॉल को कवर कर रहा है, तो इट इज़ बेसिकली द इंटीरियर सरफेस ऑफ द नेक ऑफ द पैंक्रियाज इज रिलेटेड टू द पेरिटोनियम and it is related to the pylorus. Talking about the posterior surface, it is related to the termination of the superior mesenteric vein and which combines with the splenic vein to form the portal vein. So you can say that it is the termination of the superior mesenteric vein and the beginning of the portal vein. Next, let's talk about the body of the pancreas. The body of the pancreas is an elongated structure, and when we're talking about the relations of the body of the pancreas, we'll use this diagram mentioned here. So the body of the pancreas is extending from the neck to the tail, and it passes towards the left with an upward and a backward inclination. The body of the pancreas is a bit triangular in cross section, as you can see here. Okay, and how many surfaces it has? It has three surfaces. It has an anterior surface. Okay, it has an anterior surface, a posterior surface and an inferior surface. सामने से, पीछे से और नीचे से. Whereas it has three borders. It has an anterior border that I've already underlined. This is actually the interior border. It has a superior border and it has an inferior border. So it's kind of a 3D. इस तरह से कर लो, अगर मैं इस तरह करूँ, ठीक है. तो अगर इस पिक्चर में ये वाला क्या है, ये मेरा सुपीरियर बॉर्डर है, ये इंटीरियर बॉर्डर है और ये इन्फीरियर बॉर्डर है. ठीक है. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द रिलेशंस. द इंटीरियर बॉर्डर, फर्स्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट द बॉर्डर्स. जो इंटीरियर बॉर्डर है दैट इज प्रोवाइड्स द अटैचमेंट टू द रूट ऑफ द ट्रांसवर्स मेसोकोलॉन. Okay, the superior border is related to the celiac trunk and the inferior border is related to the superior mesenteric vessels. Now let me show you these three relations from a model. Look at this picture over here. You can see that the superior border of the body of the pancreas is related to the celiac trunk, which is emerging from the aorta. Its inferior border is related to the superior mesenteric vessels, which have been hidden because of this peritoneum, and the anterior border is actually related to this the peritoneum of the transverse mesocolon. So this is actually the transverse mesocolon, which is related to the anterior border of the pancreas. I hope you're getting it. So let's move back. We have discussed the relations of the anterior part. किधर गई पिक्चर? ये वाली थी ना? एक सेकेंड. ये हमारे पास क्या था? हेड ऑफ पैंक्रियाज, बॉडी ऑफ द पैंक्रियाज. बॉर्डर्स हो गए इसके. Okay, let's use this diagram back again and talk about the interior surface. The interior surface is concave. Concave means it's like a cave. ठीक है, and that is directed forwards, upwards, and upwards. It is covered by peritoneum and that is related to the lesser sac and to the stomach. जो posterior surface है इसके relations we'll study using this diagram over here. These are the relations of the posterior surface of the pancreas. As I already told that the body of the pancreas is posteriorly related with the aorta. It is related to the left crus of the diaphragm. It is related to the left suprarenal gland. It is related to the left kidney, the left renal vessels. This is the left renal vessel. And it is related to the splenic vein, as you can see here. द स्प्लेनिक वेन का जो हमने क्या पढ़ा था कि स्प्लेनिक वेन को हम लोगों ने इंक्लूड नहीं किया था व्हेन स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट द नेक ऑफ द पैंक्रियास. जब मैंने नेक ऑफ द पैंक्रियास की बात की थी तो आई टोल्ड कि जो सुपीरियर मेसेंटेरिक वेन है वो बेसिकली स्प्लेनिक वेन के साथ कंबाइन होकर पोर्टल वेन बनाता है. बट व्हेन यू विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द रिलेशंस ऑफ द नेक ऑफ द पैंक्रियास यू वोंट बी मेंशनिंग द स्प्लेनिक वेन. ठीक है ना. इसमें सिंपल आप बस बोलोगे कि द टर्मिनेशन ऑफ द सुपीरियर मेसेंटेरिक वेन and the beginning of the portal vein. But when we will be talking about the posterior relations of the body of the pancreas, then आप बताओगे about the splenic vein. ठीक है. तो अब हम इन relations को मॉडल से भी देखते हैं. ये वाली पिक्चर ले लेते हैं. ठीक है. तो मैं आपको सबसे पहले posterior relations of the body of pancreas बताती हूँ. तो posterior relations में हमारे पास अभी इस body of pancreas अगर हम इतने हिस्से की बात करें तो we'll be talking about the aorta. We'll be talking about the left crus of the diaphragm. This is इसके पीछे ये जो है this is the left kidney. This is the left suprarenal gland. ठीक है. यहाँ पे पीछे we'll be having the renal vessels. ठीक है. and a splenic vein. Okay. ठीक है. next हमारे पास क्या है? We have to talk about the tail of the pancreas. बल्कि इससे पहले we have to talk about the inferior border. वो भी मैं आपको इसी मॉडल से ही बता देती हूँ कि जो inferior border है that is related to the duodenojejunal flexure. ठीक है. ये this is the end of the duodenum. यहीं पे हमारे पास क्या होगा कि we'll be having the duodenojejunal flexure. ठीक है. and it is also related to the left colic flexure that is over here. This is the left colic flexure and this is the duodenojejunal flexure. Last talking about the tail of the pancreas. The tail of pancreas lies in a ligament that is called as a lienorenal ligament. And that together with the splenic vessels, it comes in contact with the gastric surface of the spleen. Okay, so you can see the splenic vessels here in the diagram.